Presently, I'm reading Sindhi Sufi literature by S.L.Gajwani, published by the Sindhi Academy, Delhi. And in this, I'm going to read from page 22, The Qualities and Living of a Sufi. Very interesting. Sufi is he who knows the truth, loves his ego, and merges in Guru. Knows not religions, sees one and all, kindles the fire of love and burns his ego, transforms the word and thought, transforms with word and thought in Turiya, that is Lahut, finds his abode, neither hurts nor is hurt, finds the self in everyone, transforms ego first, transforms ego into self, forgetting manifestations, outer inner lives so pure. Pains and pleasures, feels the same, finds the self in the self, speaks of unseen, always remains in devotion. Abandoning ego becomes unattached. In everyone sees one God. Friend and foe treats as one. Life he leads, a pure one. Happy unhappy he never is. Dalpat, the real Sufi, he is. So here is a great Sufi has clearly depicted the qualities of a Sufi and not the religion as it is given below. So it is this Sufi, Sindhi Sufi literature in independent India. This is by S.L.Gajwani by the Sindhi Academy, Delhi. And in the preface here, Motilal Jotwani writes, who was a member secretary in 1997, July 16, with a view to acquiring the non-Sindhi people, with a view to acquainting the non-Sindhi people with the Sindhi heritage, Sindhi Academy Delhi has been organizing special lectures in Hindi or English on Sindhi language, literature. Sindhi language, literature, history, archaeology, and the arts by eminent scholars in their respective fields. These lectures have also aimed at the young Sindhis who are in search of their socio-cultural and literary identity. So, talking about the Sindhi Sufi literature in independent India, in the introduction is written by Gajwani that Sindh has been a cradle of Sufism. Sindhi literature was, until a few decades back, predominantly Sufistic in content. The folklore and the folk music has been mainly Sufistic in nature. The strongest point about a Sindhi is that he's a Sufi, and a Sufi has been called La Kufi, that is, without a creed. Never given much to ritualism, the Sindhi has veneration for all that calls him to realization of the divine in man and nature. The Sufistic belief has been the sheet anchor of Sindhis, Hindu, and Muslims in the many ups and downs they have had to face in past as well as recent years. Sufism in Sindh was not a cult or a sect or a religion or a school of thought followed by a select few. It was a spirit and the way of life that influenced people irrespective of caste, creed, or religion. And people in India and elsewhere have generally believed that Sufism is a Muslim sect or an Islamic faith, and Vedanta is a Hindu sect or faith. Sindhis have largely held a different view. They have believed in the identity between Vedanta and Sufism. Now, what is Sufism? Much has been said and written on the subject. To state precisely, a Sufi believes in purity in life, has the faith of oneness, and he realizes that, or seeks to realize that in thought and in practical life. So, it's very interesting. You must go through this book. It's a very thin book. They are on Sindhi literature. They've written who has written and what the books are. So you get a. Uh, then there are some quotations from prominent Sufi saints of Sindh. One is like for I'm just going to read from page 13. Sai Qutub Ali Shah says, raising the word from the navel lotus, they form the rhythm at the throat lotus, carrying the sacred word of the preceptor. They practice concentration in the head. Shah Abdul Latif writes, turn the wheel in a way that the sleeping one is awakened, and turn the wheel in a way that no noise is made. Now, Bedil, another one, writes, guard the breath. Breath is the divine mystery. Breath is a river, deep ocean, unique and without a peer. Its waves are manifest and latent. The drops merge in the ocean, and take hold of the center of inhaling and exhaling and enjoy the cross currents. So, Sai Roshan Ali Shah writes, lift breath from navel lotus with Naam, rise and stabilize at throat lotus, hurry up with the right understanding, practice concentration in the absolute, find exit from the outlet in the head, attain the Akash, O lover, meet the beloved directly, and realize the love within. Incessant rhythm of the breath, achieve it with love, conceal it from the world, and be merry with the Lord. So Sai Hadi Baksh or Miskeen writes, deep within I heard the rhythm of in and out movement. Thanks, my Lord. The bliss of inhaling and exhaling was fixed within. Thanks, my Lord. Never ignore your breath. Live the pure life. Live the pure form. So he says, bring it from the navel, reach at the throat, lose the self at Trikuti, realize the true form, do not reveal to others the secret word of the formless. Sai Rochal Das considered yoga very helpful for spiritual progress. According to him, yoga and love are two essential, integral, and complementary elements of the spiritual endeavor. He held that yoga is a discipline, a regulation. Bhakti is disciplined when it is associated with yoga and does not remain merely emotional or chaotic as it sometimes tends to be. Yoga becomes sweet and gentle when it is associated with bhakti. By itself, yoga tends to be dry and without bliss. Further, ego arises in yoga. The seeker is always mindful of his achievements. Bhakti teaches him surrender of his achievement to the Lord. He is saved from the subtle ego. Yoga is discipline and bhakti is sweetness. When the two are combined, that becomes a wonderful thing. His stress on the integration between love and yoga is reflected in the following quotation from his dialogues. Just as God permeates everything, so does love permeates everything. Love is the essence of universe. Nothing subsists in the absence of love. Love exists in everybody, but because man has diffused and distributed it in all directions, he cannot perceive that. He can realize it when he focuses it on in one direction. Love exists in the human body in the form of primordial power, that is Brahm Agni. That primordial power is love, the divine love, that is latent in man but is dormant. One has to wake it. Love exists as a spark in everybody. One has to fan it out or use bellows so that the spark may grow into a big blaze. This does not mean using ordinary fans, bellows, etc. These are the fans or bellows of the breath, pranayam, that help in the growth of the divine fire, that is Brahma Agni. It rose into a blaze with the help of pranayam. Then one should be able to hold the divine fire, that is Brahma Agni, within one, should be able to contain an unrest, the unrest and the upsurge. Brahma Agni also grows by other means such as maturity of bhakti or of jnana. There is yet another method, and that is of a jiva is lucky. Jiva is lucky. He may earn the grace of a saint. In that event, the blaze is so powerful that it is difficult to describe. It is beyond comparison. So there are a lot of nuggets like this. You should go through this book, and it's a very small little, thin little book, and I'm sure you're going to enjoy it. I'm going to show it to you. Well, that's the ISBN number, publishers. These are the contents for you to see so that you would want to read this. And it's not many pages out there. Well, some pages. Interesting read, I say.